My name is Rochelle Robinson. We're so very excited to have Dr. Elkins from Mercer University here with us today and to talk about our career fair. And so we would welcome Dr. Elkins. She is Senior Vice President for Enrollment and Management at Mercer University. She's been there for 17 years.
Yes.
Very difficult to believe, but you're just a little past 17. She has several degrees and a PhD in Education and Leadership from Georgia State, and appointed by the governor to be chair of the Georgia Professional Standards Commission. So we have lots and lots to talk about. Dr. Elkins came to me in the first quarter of me being elected as mayor in the city to just come and really introduce herself and talk about Mercer, because you all have been here about 30 years in Douglas County.
We are,
and to really feed into me, which has been such a blessing to have another woman leader come and talk to me about leadership. And you said, how can we partner together with the city? And from that conversation, the synergy that we had and the energy, two initiatives were birthed. One was a career fair, which Mercer is sponsoring, helping the city sponsor, that's taking place today. And the other one was about veterans.
That's
and so we'll talk about that. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit about yourself. I want to brag on you. You are such a wonderful person. If you could talk to us about some soft skills and what Mercer offers for the community. I know a lot of times for Douglas that really an emphasis could be on those non-traditional students.
That's right.
Going back to school. And we had a great person that had come out of Mercer that's in our community now, the Development Authority, Breezy Stratton.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so Breezy is really, really one of the game changers in the county. And so when anything you want to talk about the career fair today, and then I'll ask you some more questions, but I don't want to monopolize the conversation. So.
Well, Mayor Robinson, I'm so thrilled to be here. I tell you, we, as you mentioned, Mercer is very committed to this this county, this region, this city.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been here. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary. I really can't believe it that we started offering programs here in the evenings in 1986. And so part of our commitment to the community, and lots of people, and I've told you a good bit about Mercer already, and I hope lots of the community members know that we're really invested in community. It's really part of our mission. That Mercer, we have our traditional campus in Macon, as most folks know, and our graduate and professional campus, a large campus in Atlanta. But what we have here in Douglas County is what we call a regional academic center, and that means we bring that Mercer brand, that education, the things that you would get at that Macon or Atlanta campus. We're going to bring that into the community, and we've been doing that here for 30 years, and primarily, as you mentioned, to serve those populations who might be working during the day or who might want to re-career and say, you know, they're looking for advancement, or that they're just saying, you know, that they're interested in another topic and might just want to learn more about another topic, which we have a lot of those students as well. But that's really our commitment to serve this region. And you're right. So when you came into your position, the first thing I did was say, you know, I want to really align with you. And again, that's who we are at Mercer. We want to align with the community so that we can really serve a need. And as you said, the very first thing we were brainstorming is this career fair today. And that just, it's so logical that we would be involved in that, because we're very committed not just to, of course, we're going to provide education programs, and we know that education leads to that economic development in the community. But we also are very focused on individual lives. I don't know if you remember when we were talking, when we first, when I first met you, we have a tagline. You know, it's kind of a marketing thing, but it means so much to each one of us at Mercer. And it says, at Mercer, everyone majors in changing the world. And we're very committed to whatever you do, whether that's being an accountant or being, you know, it's a school teacher or a computer analyst, that you're using those skills, yes, to better your life, but also to make the world a better place. And we have that on our banners all across our campus here in Douglas. And but it's something that's very important to each and every individual at Mercer. And so when we were thinking about the career fair, for example, When we're talking about those adult students who are busy professionals, you know, like yourself, who might come back and say, hey, I want to get an MBA, or I want to get a master's in accountancy, or I want to complete my undergraduate degree that I've never completed before. You know, those are the kind of folks that we want to be able to help. And so we take that tagline of at Mercer, everyone majors in changing the world, and we kind of tweak it for those adults, because we know we've got a lot of folks out there, Mayor, who are, you know, our average age at this location is 38 years old. I mean, that's average. So we're not talking necessarily your traditional population, you know, and we're talking those who, you know, have jobs, who have families, who have aging parents.
Yes.
And so what we're trying to say is you can have that high quality educational experience of a Mercer right here in your community, and you can manage all of those demands. So, so that tagline we shift and we say, changing the world starts with changing a life.
Yes, it does.
And that's what we're all about. And that's why we want to help you, and we want to help this community, and we want to help those students who would come to Mercer.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And that really is so applicable to everyone in the community, because really it does. When you change your life, you change your educational perspective, it really shifts your trajectory of where you can go with your family, because economic development, you know, starts with families and individuals that bring, you know, all of that to the community. So we really appreciate that. I wanted to name some of these companies that are participating in the career fair that you're supporting and sponsoring with us. And Aaron's, Avon, Belk, Bojangles, City of Douglasville, Dillard's, Diversified Staffing, DeKalb County Fire and Rescue, Douglas County Government, Douglas County School System, Georgia Commute Program, Georgia Department of Public Safety, Georgia Department of Labor, Elwood Staffing, Gordon Foods, Medline Industry, Mercer University, Be the Bear, Old Navy,
I love it.
Redline Mechanical and Welding Services, Regions Bank, Super Shuttle, University of West Georgia, the U.S. Army, yay!
Yay, wonderful, that's right.
That's
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, and the Navy. And so there are some others that have joined in as well. But this has just been so great for me, because when you...
Wonderful response.
I know it. So when you talked to me, my first ever, I said, you know, when you said, what are some of your challenges and what would you like for Mercer to align with and partner with the city, I said that people have been asking me about jobs. And so this is a response really to the citizenry that said, you know, Mayor, do you know if there's a job here or there? And so this has been really great.
It's interesting, as you were going down that list, I was thinking through, and I know your folks in the community have seen these data, but the most recent statistics from the Department of Labor, Georgia Department of Labor, and specifically in this region, you know, what are those jobs out there? And they're very actually consistent with some of the folks on that list. For those of you who know me, I'm very biased toward education, so but the K-12 sector, you know, it's interesting how cyclical that goes. There were about 3 to 5 years ago where folks were saying, oh, we've got this, you know, abundance, this surplus of teachers in early childhood. But guess what? One of the #1 jobs is today. Early childhood education, absolutely.
Really?
So that not only birth through 5-year-old, which we can talk about, but your pre-K through 5th grade teachers. So early childhood, middle grades, and secondary. There are needs in all of those areas and in this very region. So that's one thing that Mercer is the largest private university in the state of Georgia preparing teachers and leaders for the state by far. Each year we graduate anywhere from 300 to 500 teachers, educators, school principals, or so forth. And we've got a really, really long legacy of doing that. So
very good.
Education is one of our key components in that K-12 sector. And we have, you know, fantastic programs in all of those areas, but very much near and dear to my heart, but consistent also with needs in this community. You know, we're looking for teachers who have that passion and that commitment to teach. So I see that the school system is on that list.
Yes,
I'm glad
about that.
And I'm also thinking about in this area, you know, accounting, general business degrees, marketing communications specialists. Those are, you mentioned Breezy a moment ago, her role. She is an advertisement in herself.
She is.
We're so
her
proud
personality
of Breezy.
will just get you.
She's an incredible Mercerian and an incredible community member. But marketing is also one of those top jobs in this area. And then a couple of more that are interesting that are also on that list. Computer systems, software technology, that makes sense to us in terms of technology. Mercer's got this really cool program. I always tell people, I said, that name is so cool. I hope people know what it is, but it's informatics.
Informatics, oh wow, that is a cool
great?
name.
I know, isn't that interesting? But what it really is, our world is just we have so much data today, whether we're talking in healthcare or in government or in education. And the informatics program literally gives you the ability to synthesize, analyze, and then produce reports consistent with that data. So what?
Wow.
We have all of this data coming in. Well, what does it mean? What does it mean for your industry? What does it mean for healthcare? We've got a healthcare informatics track, which is just really exploding right now. Because, think about your healthcare industry and hospitals in particular. They've got so much coming in. Well, how do you use that data in terms of patient care? How do you use that data in terms of strategy for a hospital, in terms of implementation of practices and so forth? So it's one of those programs that we're really pleased with, because it came from these Department of Labor statistics in terms of what are those needs. And again, that's part of kind of Mercer's ethos, is we're about developing those programs that are consistent with the needs in a community. So,
very good. You are right on the cutting edge.
Yes, we try to be.
That's very good. Now, the Department of Labor says that in August of 2016 that the unemployment rate was 4.9% in the state, and it's a little higher in Douglas County. It's 5.7. So hopefully this will meet some of the needs today. And I wanted you just to talk a little bit about the birth to 5 education. My mom taught in Ohio for many years. She's retired now, but it was called Head Start. And so I remember growing up listening to all the little songs, and she didn't work until we were in high school, out of the house, but she really pushed pre-K, pre-education before you get into kindergarten. And so for our children, I think that really helped them. There was a foundation, a lot of music. When I had the kids at Wellstar Hospital, they gave us a CD with classical music. And so we played that in the cribs at night. And so I have a 9th grader, a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And they're all at Douglas County High School.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. So in Douglas County we have theme schools. Douglas County High has the International Baccalaureate program, which 2 of my children are in.
Great program.
It is very good. And then Alexander and Chapel Hill are AP. And Lithia Springs is STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math. That pipeline to Georgia Tech. And New Manchester is a fine and performing arts school. So 2 of my kids are in IB and 1 is in honors in AP. So I think that foundational, time at home with mom, flashcards, and when they get in pre-K, which they went to at First United Methodist Church, it really prepared them. For elementary school, which is that foundation, reading, the gateway to everything, to help them through school. And that's this boy going to college. So we're going to visit Mercer.
Well, I was about to say now, he's got to come see Mercer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we're on our college tour.
You've got to come to our Macon campus for that traditional college experience. You better believe it. Yes.
So please talk to me a little bit about that to help.
The Birth Through 5 program, or what we call the Early Learning and Development program at Mercer, and it's offered right here at your Douglas location. Yes, ma'am. And it is specific to teachers who would equip that birth to 5-year-old population. And this is near and dear to my heart. I've been at Mercer 17 years, but and now I'm of course in administration, but I'm also a full professor of education and served as associate dean in our College of Education for years, and helped to develop this program because it's very much, we understand, and you just said, that those early years prepare the foundation for everything, cognitively, emotionally, socially, physically, and how we equip those children in those early ages. And I often say, you're not babysitting, or you're not watching the children at birth through 5.
That's right. They're sponges.
You are absolutely. I mean, you are equipping them. You are pouring into those children. You are scaffolding their learning for their lifetimes.
Wow.
And what happens, there's so much in terms of theory of language development and how much those children learn in the first 18 months of life.
Wow.
And how that does set that trajectory, as you mentioned, so that when they're in high school, they're in the AP and IB programs and so forth.
Ma'am.
So because of Mercer's commitment to that population, we were actually the first university in the state of Georgia, and this was, some years ago. I can't even recall, 4 to 5, maybe. I think it's longer than that now. But to create a program, a bachelor's degree program specific to that birth through 5 population for teaching. We're now only one of 3 to 4, I think, who have that program. And not only do we have that program, but if they choose to, it's not required in the state of Georgia, but if those teachers would choose, they can actually take the certification test through the Georgia Professional Standards Commission and be certified, just like our K-12 educators have to have certificates to teach. This birth through 5 population, if they so choose, also have a pathway to certification out of those Mercer programs. Yes. And that's, again, professionalizing that profession.
Yes.
Because sometimes we think, that's sweet and everything, taking care of those little children. But those are fantastic educators who are building that very critical foundation for those children in terms of their educational lives. Yeah.
Wow. Very good. Mercer is doing it all. So if you can talk to us about being the chair of the Georgia Professional Standards Commission.
Yeah.
So you do all the certifications and set the criteria for their professional careers in education.
We do. I tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my professional career has been my ability to chair that commission. There are 18 folks on that commission, educators, practicing teachers, school leaders, business folks who work on that commission, and we're all voluntary, And,
wow.
And we do that, and what we do is we set standards for teaching in the state of Georgia, teaching and leading, so for school principals as well. And not only that, but we also monitor universities who would be preparing those teachers. So we have an educator preparation track and a certification track. The certification is for all the teachers and leaders in the state, but the educator preparation focus is, okay, are those programs preparing these teachers and leaders to meet those standards? So we do a review. The Professional Standards Commission is really a fantastic organization that reviews, the NCAID and TEAC, all these national accreditation, and CAPE, which is the newest national accrediting body for teachers and leaders. But in the state of Georgia, the Professional Standards Commission also approves programs at universities to be able to offer those programs for teachers and leaders. So it's a big job. It's a big role.
Yes.
I served on that commission. I've most recently rotated off as chair. I gave them a number of years. And a great professional responsibility. It was one of my greatest honors. Yeah.
So proud of you. You're just a woman on the move.
Well, I'm trying to be like you.
No. So is that an arm of the Georgia Board of Regents, or it's
not?
It's
actually it's from the legislature.
Okay.
Yeah, it's independent. Works in collaboration with the Georgia Department of Education. But it's an independent entity of the legislature. Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna wrap it up in a little bit and go across the street maybe and look at some of our participants.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to talk to you about a community partnership. I know that the career fair is one, and then we talked about veterans. You and I had a connection with our fathers having the same profession, growing up and having that connection. And then veterans, my dad was a veteran, and we talked about that. And so I know that you, that Mercer's going to participate in something for Veterans Day. And so you have a home run you know, the first quarter of me mentioning things and you helping me being a woman in leadership to help some of those dreams and initiatives come true and being a great community partner. Thank you so much. And I know with chambers, you speak to a lot of chambers and, you know, our Chamber of Commerce, if we can do something with the businesses here with Mercer, maybe in 2017, look, I'm saying because I know you're going to make it happen.
Absolutely. Really. Whatever you say, we're going to do. Just cast that vision.
Oh, thank you. To do partnership to really strengthen those small businesses. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the community, and if they could have professional training and maybe just a business plan or you know, take some classes at Mercer just to work with the chamber or something for us to make that happen. Now, of course, that's wide, and you know specifically how to make that come to pass.
Sure. You know, I was just reading, you probably saw this article, that 40 to 45% of businesses are being led by entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. That's almost half of industry are these startups, the entrepreneur. Mercer, again, is very committed to that section of industry. Our School of Business offers programs right here again in Douglas. Our Bachelor's of Business Administration is a big program with an accountancy track or human resources or general business. But it's interesting that the theme of our business school is all about entrepreneurship. So they're going to get that kind of equipping through the business school and that thinking that is very different, honestly, than just general business. Mercer just started on our Macon campus a Mercer Innovation Center, which is, you know, all about, it's really, it's again, it looks kind of Google-esque, you know, when you go in there, but it's all about these students, and we've got these fellows who come in that we're providing stipends for them to come in, and they just have a great idea, and they're working there on our campus right by the School of Engineering and the medical school and the sciences and the business school, and so they can use any faculty resources, anything we have to help strengthen whatever their idea happens to be, and then we're hoping, again, as I was talking about with Douglas, that they're going to give back to the community and the economic development through hopefully starting their business or promoting their product in the community. So that entrepreneurship is something that's just evolving nationally, really, in terms of equipping those thought leaders to you know, help with those creative ideas.
Very good. That sounds really cool.
It is
cool.
Yes, I know. I hang around those traditional undergraduates a lot, so I'm picking up their vernacular. That's sure.
That's great.
But thank you for mentioning the military focus as well. I tell you, we again, thank you for your service. I want to say that we really do want to align with this community, and I told you when we came to meet with you that it's also about you and your growth and being a woman in leadership, that we want to support that as well.
Thank you.
And that we are true community partners. We don't just want to be a building over there on Blair's Bridge Road off of Thornton Road. We really want to be true community partners. So to that end, we brainstormed in that meeting these two initiatives, the career fair, which we're going to go see today, and the commitment to veterans, and Georgia's first Purple Heart University would be Mercer University. We are absolutely, and it's difficult to get that. I don't know that you. No, I don't know. It's like a SACS review, you know, like an accreditation review. I mean, if they put their stamp of approval on you, that means something. But they reviewed all of our processes in terms of our ability to serve the military and veterans with the educational programs that we're offering, and how easy that was, and how we support them through that process. So we are Georgia's first Purple Heart University, and very proud to be that. Yes, and because of that commitment, and we're military friendly, and all those designations, you know, because we really have, and you know, you mentioned it. I have a personal commitment. You know, I'm so proud of my daddy, and World War II Navy veteran, and I tell you,
thank you for his service. My niece is in the Navy now.
Yes,
we love it.
Yes, but that really, again, that commitment to service to humankind, that overall mission of Mercer is definitely portrayed through this arm of serving our veterans. So. So we're going to support, I know that it's very important to this community, the Military Honor Garden, and that's something that we're committed to support and come alongside you to see that come to fruition.
Thank you so much for that. And so the Purple Heart designation, when the folks have served in the military, the veterans can take all of those educational classes and trainings that they've had and bring to the university University, and you'll see if something can really articulate, or if you could, transfer that to maybe, I don't know, English class or something to help them with their credits.
We do everything we can to help serve our veteran population. I'll tell you a really quick story. We were just doing enrollment for the fall session 2, which starts right now in October, and we had a veteran who, for no fault of anyone's, but she just got into a confusing situation with her benefits with VA and some other things, and we sat down, Mayor Robinson, for about 2 hours, and I worked with my financial aid people, and we got on the phone with them, and I mean, we just made it happen, because I was like, we are going to help this young woman who was a single parent, 40 years old, bright young woman, and she really wanted to go back to school. And she said that she had been to a number of institutions, and she just couldn't figure out, there are lots of details there, but she couldn't figure out how to make those benefits work for her.
Yes.
But we were just not going to let that stand in her way. And so that was a great personal moment that just happened, last week that we helped her. And she's now enrolled in classes.
Great.
And
the success story.
Exactly. Right. But that's just part of that kind of white glove treatment, hand holding. Come on, let us help you figure this out. That's very much our commitment to all of our students, but certainly to veterans. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being who you are and being so gracious to come in and talk with me today. This is my first time ever doing an interview with someone, and I really appreciate you meaning your time, being amenable to coming in and talking with us, and for us to go across the street now. We're going to go and see what's going on at the career fair and meet some of the participants.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much again, Dr. Elkins. Anything that you need from me, I'd be happy to do it, and thank you for being a community partner with Mercer.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.